Hey everyone, so yet again the federal government ends up dead wrong on the issue of drugs. Politicians incessantly declared that the sky will fall from marijuana legalization. But according to a report done by the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, there was a 21% decline in the use of marijuana among teenagers. Will politicians look at this data and at least consider that they were wrong? Probably not, as this isn't the point of making drugs illegal to them. The goal for them is to control people's lives and keep the bloated budgets of their favored government departments nice and gluttonous. Jeff Sessions was among those who railed against marijuana legalization due to it being a corruption of youth, while as more states legalize its recreational use and we see a drop in its use among youth, would it not be logical to simply legalize it federally? If Sessions is truly worried about marijuana use among teens, would legalization not be the route to take? It's not difficult to understand why this dip in use has occurred among teens. A drug dealer is far less likely to care about checking IDs. A drug dealer doesn't have a store or a business with a reputation to uphold. The risk involved of being a drug dealer is so high because of our stupid laws that any place you can make some money, you're going to take advantage of that. Let's say alcohol and cigarettes had no age restriction, for example. Do you think a business would want the reputation of being the place where 15-year-olds can go and get a bottle of Jack and cigarettes? I sincerely doubt it. A black market drug dealer does not have the same incentives. They'll walk by a kid with a $20 bill, make the transaction, and then disappear as quickly as they came. And although I'm not a fan of the 21-year-old drinking age, it just makes us have really old children. But I can tell you that it can be easier for a kid to get a hold of illegal drugs than alcohol, for the exact same reasons I mentioned before. If a kid walks into a store and wants a bunch of liquor, chances are that kid isn't walking out of there with what they want. If that same kid gets a hookup to some drugs, chances are that drug dealer will happily meet that demand even if it's 2 in the morning. The dangling carrot idea is also a very real thing. When the government makes marijuana illegal, they call attention to it, they glamorize it more than any marijuana advocate could. They make it that dangerous and mysterious thing, and that can certainly entice a little kid into trying it, because, big shocker here, a lot of kids are rebellious. The more we legalize marijuana and not go off the deep end about it, and the less we have to have this ridiculously stern national conversation about it, the less teenagers care about it. And frankly, that's what I notice among kids today. The more it becomes a commonplace adult activity, the less attention kids give to it. They just don't care. But if you incessantly talk about it and rail against it, the more tempting it becomes to kids. So in a weird twist of fate, I think Jeff Sessions and the over-bloated DEA is more responsible for marijuana use among children than any marijuana activist ever was. So the lesson to be learned here is a pretty universal one, actually. When the government is crying and screaming about the madness that will ensue if they don't stick their beak into a certain issue, the last thing any of us should do is take them seriously. After all, they'd make us stink about light bulbs if it meant they could control more aspects of our lives. Oh wait, they already did that.